Good afternoon. Welcome to the Professor Duot. Here is nearly 4 p.m. Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya. Hope your day was okay. Mine is doing well. So today I want to talk about reading for prosperity, where you read books to gain knowledge and skills to make you successful. So a couple of years ago, I read a book, Art of the Deal, written by Donald J. Trump. And let me check the co-author. Has a very difficult name. Tony Schwartz. So Donald J. Trump and Tony Schwartz wrote a book, Art of the Deal. This book was written in 1987. The publisher was Random House. So basically, the book Trump talks about his life in business, his life in real estate construction. You know him, he's a construction person, a businessman who owns golf courses. Now he's a politician. So Trump in the book Art of the Deal he talks about many things, but I got 5 key issues when I read the book Art of the Deal. The first thing that I found out was be ruthless with your money. Trump talks about being ruthless with your money. So his father, the late father of Trump, Trump Sr., used to be a landlord, used to own apartments in a place called in New York, called the Bronx. So this New York, the people default with rent. So Trump's father, who was called, I think, Fred Trump, would hire the so-called muscles. So muscles were usually gangsters, tough guys who were former convicts. So they would go and get the rent arrears from his tenants because he had a block of flats there in New York Bronx. So Trump was around 17, so he talks of this story. He goes with the so-called muscle or rent collector that his father had hired to go and collect rent from those tenants. When they reach the flat, the tenants start throwing things at Trump and the rent collector. But now the rent collector protects Trump and takes on the tenant. It goes up, it was upstairs. It was a big flat of several floors from the book. So the tenant is subdued and he pays the rent arrears. So from that, Trump learned one thing. Be ruthless with your money. In the sense that imagine you're a businessman and you sell things on credit or services and people don't pay you, don't pay for the goods and services rendered. Your so-called business will collapse, isn't it? So that's why I was saying be ruthless with your money. If you have a business, don't give things on credit because sooner or later people will default and your company will collapse. We have had some major companies in Kenya here collapsing because they sold services, they took loans and they could not meet the obligation. So the company collapses. You see, when your money is not coming in, the company will collapse. That's the bloodline of a company or business is money. So we talked about the second point I learned from the book Art of the Deal by Donald Trump was expand always. Imagine staying in a rental apartment for over 10 years. Let's say in Kenya, you are paying 15,000 Kenya shillings. I don't know, that's around $150. Yes, around $150. If I'm not wrong, yeah, around $150. You multiply, yes, something like that. Now 15,000 Kenyan shillings, around $150. Now, if you do the calculation of those 15,000 Kenya shillings over 10 years, it's around 2 million Kenya shillings, which is around $13,000. Now, 2 million Kenya shillings in Nairobi and on the outskirts, you can get land an eighth or even bigger and build a house for yourself. And even if you cannot build, do the land for speculation, you can earn and do other investments. The same 2 million Kenya shillings, you see most people in Nairobi, Kenya here now, over 90% have villages. They come from a village. When you retire, you go back to a village. Or if you die, your people carry you to go and bury you in your village. That's what happens in Africa. With 2 million Kenya shillings, which is around $13,000, you can buy land, even an acre, and build a bungalow of 2 or 3 bedrooms with a sitting room and a kitchen, with modern iron sheets, and even with a guest house, with the bathroom facilities, with a nice fence, and even do some farming or a small business. So that's why I was talking about expand. You cannot be a tenant all your life. You need to expand. Own your own land, own your own house. So that's what I was talking about, expansion. It's what Trump was talking about in that book. Another point I got. And then number 3, trust your sixth sense. He said that when you meet people, you should always use your sixth sense. So he gave this example. He had a lawyer, an older lawyer. The guy was around 60, very experienced. He was a young lawyer in his early 30s, okay, mid-30s, but inexperienced, but very aggressive and sharp. So the older and experienced lawyer was losing many cases for Trump because being a businessman, you always get into litigation. So Trump decided to fire the old lawyer and hire the young, inexperienced lawyer, but who was somehow skilled and aggressive. And from then on, that became he became Trump's main lawyer, that useful person. So Trump was saying the moment you meet with someone and your blood likes him or her, then that's a good person. Your sixth sense can never fail you. All humans are born with a basic instinct to judge danger. So he's saying trust your sixth sense. And then another point was invest wisely. So I gave this example. Used to invest in casinos in the 80s and 90s. That's Donald J. Trump. But now he made a mistake. Those casinos started collapsing and they had taken a lot of loans, so he became bankrupt. So looking back, he was saying that he did not invest wisely because the trend was casinos. But after a while, the casinos collapsed. So if you are investing, to invest in something that is credible. Maybe you invest your money in a circle, you buy shares, you buy land. You cannot go wrong with land. You invest in a house, in a mortgage house, you build your own house. So you're saying in life you should invest wisely. You should do research, invest your money wisely so that it gives you big returns. That's another point I got from Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump. And then the other point was enjoy life. I was saying you cannot work all your life and this money and you have taken care of the basics. That is food, shelter, and maybe clothing, and maybe investment. You have bought land, or build a rental house, or build your own house, and you don't enjoy life. You're saying once you have that, spoil yourself sometimes when you work hard. Go for a trip, go for a holiday somewhere exotic, eat well, buy that car you wanted to buy. Once you have gotten your basics right, that is a house for yourself, housing, shelter, food, clothing, investments, maybe land, in case of us Africans, buying shares in companies. So I was saying enjoy life. I was saying that life is too short that you find billionaires, the person has billions of dollars in their account, but is living a miser's life. You know, a miser is someone who cannot even spend a dollar. And so he was asking, when you die, all this money, who will it go to? People will take the money. So I was saying enjoy your life. So those are some of the points I got from this book, Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump. That's why I'm saying read to prosperity. When you read books, you gain knowledge and skills that make you prosper. So this is a Professor Dor show. If you like what I've said, send something small on that number, +254 769 729 327. I repeat again, +254 769 729 327. And And as I always say, kwaheri ya kuonana, kwaheri.